Donnie works at a bar. The first time he saw Martha, he felt she looked a bit pitiful, so out of simple kindness, he gave her a free cup of tea. From that moment on, Donnie was hit by Martha with 80 emails every single day, endless stalking that crossed all privacy lines. Every female friend around Donnie also suffered dirty insults and non-stop attacks. All of these extreme actions lasted for a full 6 months, until after those 6 months, Donnie finally nervously walked into a police station. When the police heard he was stalked by a woman, at first they did not take it very seriously. Donnie stressed that Martha's behavior had gone on for a long time and was driving him crazy. The police asked in confusion, "Then why are you only reporting it now?" That question pulled Donnie back to a past he hated to remember. 5 years earlier, Donnie, who dreamed of becoming a comedian, went to take part in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Starting in 1947, every August, Edinburgh hosts an international arts festival. And the Fringe Festival Donnie joined simply put means no official invitation. Artists come together on their own, performing in bars, restaurants, street corners and other places. Because performers are not judged or selected, wild ideas and all kinds of strange shows made the Fringe Festival grow bigger every year, up to today. The Fringe Festival can already stand side by side with the official Edinburgh International Festival. 5 years ago, Donnie was in his early 20s, carrying huge passion and hope. He rushed toward the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. He believed that with his talent, he would surely shine here. When he arrived at the bar booked for his show, even though the place was filled with heavy grease smells, the boss was cold and the equipment was careless, there was not even a proper stage, Donnie still believed in himself. He was sure he could win the crowd over, until he stood there in a silly full-body suit, shouting with 100% passion, but no one below responded at all. They just did their own thing, either chatting or watching a game. No one wanted to pay Donnie any attention. The show failed badly with no surprise. The Fringe Festival lasts for a full month and Donnie's show most of the time was cancelled because no one showed up. A few times he even met joking young guys. Donnie instantly became the target of mockery. In just 1 week, Donnie was completely crushed. Feeling like trash in the performing world, he stopped handing out flyers with passion, secretly hoping no one would come see his show. Luckily, the bar owner lady noticed Donnie's hard work. She found a membership card in the bar, a card that only artists were allowed to use to enter a special bar. She gave the card to Donnie. The moment he walked in, Donnie finally felt that he was an artist too. There he met a big name in comedy, a comedy Donnie deeply loved, the writer of Cottonmouth Snake. His name was Darian. That night, the two talked for a long time and clicked right away. Donnie casually mentioned he had been performing at a certain bar. The next day, Darian was sitting in the audience. Donnie gave everything he had on stage. After the show, Darian gave him the biggest tip. In the weeks that followed, Darian helped Donnie plan his path, pointing out what was funny and what was not, and what parts could still be improved. The two spent time rehearsing together, shaping the show into a complete performance. Then he kept helping him more, improving the venue with very limited resources. With Darian involved, the show suddenly became a hit. Even the bar owner started to clear out customers who only came to watch football. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our performer Donnie Dunn to the stage. During this time, Darian also took Donnie to high-end private bar parties. Donnie suddenly lived a life like a celebrity. All of this was brought to him by Darian. They often talked all night about comedy dreams. Darian always understood what Donnie was trying to say. He often praised Donnie for being talented. The two even planned that after the Fringe Festival, Darian would take Donnie to London to step onto a much bigger stage. The dream was already taking shape, but one day, Darian suddenly disappeared. Until the festival ended, Donnie could not reach him. Watching the stage being taken down and the TV turned back on, Donnie thought back. Everything with Darian felt unreal, as if it had all been a dream. Once he left, everything was gone. After that, Donnie got into acting school. It was there that he met his ex-girlfriend and moved into his current home with her. Outside of his studies, Donnie crazily missed Darian. He missed how Darian brought him into the circle. He missed the hope Darian gave him. Darian was the one who made him believe that one day, he could truly make it. He had just tasted how exciting the world could be and then became a nobody again. One day, Darian finally called. He invited Donnie to his home, saying they would write a script together. Donnie almost ran there and knocked on Darian's door. After they met, Donnie tried every way to please Darian. He kept finding topics so the mood would not go cold. He wanted Darian to feel he was an interesting person and also feel that they shared the same interests. He truly hoped to become a friend with Darian, who could talk about anything, but in truth, their thinking was not on the same level. Back in Edinburgh when they talked non-stop, it was Darian lowering himself to match Donnie. Darian may also have enjoyed having someone like Donnie who fully followed him, accepted his shaping and became successful because of it. Watching Donnie be seen by more people under his guidance must have given him a strong sense of achievement. At this meeting, Donnie brought a script he had written himself. Darian only listened to the outline and praised Donnie for having good ideas, but said the details needed work. Then he took out drugs and asked Donnie to get high with him. Donnie did not dare to refuse. He was afraid of performing badly and losing contact with Darian again like last time. The pain of those lost months was still fresh. So Donnie gritted his teeth and drank everything Darian handed to him. it was his first time trying something that strong. Donnie's body could not handle it. He even threw up into Darian's cat bowl. Darian came over in a haze to pat his back, then he reached his hand into Donnie's pants. Even though Donnie was drugged and dizzy, he still sensed something was wrong. Darian stood up and calmly went to wash his hands without saying a single word. Donnie immediately felt that he had done something wrong. He wondered if he had not done well enough and if he would never be allowed back to Darian's place. Not long after, Darian called again. Donnie pretended nothing had happened and answered happily like before. On the other end, Darian said he had shown Donnie's script to a TV station. They thought it was very promising, just not mature enough and still needed work. Hearing this news, Donnie once again rushed to Darian's place, learning that once the script was approved, there would be a huge fee. Donnie was so happy he lost his head, when Darian handed him another cup of liquid ecstasy. He drank it without a second thought as if this was how he could grab his chance to climb higher. From that day on, Donnie went to Darian's place every weekend to get high. He trusted without question every promise Darian made to him, believing that very soon, he would have his own show, believing he would become a millionaire. Because of this, Donnie let Darian put all kinds of chemicals into his mouth. When the drugs kicked in, those distant unreachable dreams suddenly felt completely real. You are going to be someone big. After taking enough drugs, you enter a state where all thoughts stop and pleasure rushes in. Those big talks about the future fame and happiness become extremely real. Just like the chemicals flowing inside his body, many times, Donnie passed out right in front of Darian, waking up to find Darian lying on top of him, with strange liquid on his lower body. Then when Monday came, Darian turned back into a strict mentor, ruthlessly tearing apart Donnie's script, forcing him to rewrite it. Donnie knew it was painful, yet he was addicted to this kind of torment. Every weekend, he still went to Darian's place. His experience in Edinburgh proved that Darian truly had real power. Donnie firmly believed that only Darian could help him, until one day, Darian handed him 2 packets extremely powerful psychedelic drugs. After the two took them, Darian stayed in the room, dancing in a very strange way. Sometimes when people ask me how did you end up on the road of comedy, my mind goes back to this image, me in my 20s sitting there, floating and dazed, watching this 55-year-old man dancing a bizarre Amazon-style dance in front of me. All of a sudden, for no clear reason, a clear and intense thought appeared in my mind. He is trying to control your thoughts. This man is bad, this situation is terrible. That powerful thought was Donnie's subconscious. His subconscious was telling him to escape right now, but his vision was blurred and his hands felt weak. Darian noticed something was wrong with Donnie and handed him the usual liquid ecstasy, saying it would help him relax. Donnie drank it in a daze. When he woke up, he realized he had been sexually assaulted. When he woke again, it was already the next morning. How did last night feel? You should take a shower, use warm water, it will be good for you. Darian returned once again to his usual serious mentor persona. Donnie should have run away immediately, but after that night, because his eyes were badly inflamed, he stayed at Darian's place for a few more days. Not until Wednesday did Donnie return to his girlfriend's mother's house. After calming down, Donnie kept replaying everything, wondering what happened while he was unconscious. He thought about it over and spiraled deeper, until he could no longer be normal with his girlfriend. That led to later. When his girlfriend said he was cold and moved out, Donnie began to feel confused about his sexuality. He started paying attention to men without control. These behaviors, were they always hidden deep inside him or were they disturbed by Darian's control? His mind kept circling these questions. Even walking on the street, he feared being seen through. He was afraid people would notice his past sexual assault. The questions about his sexuality, I would imagine killing him, cutting off his manhood or cutting out his tongue, whatever would hurt the most, then burning his body to ashes. After months of hatred, anger and confusion, I had no other choice. When emotional pressure reached a breaking point, Donnie began searching for extreme sex online. He could no longer deny that his sexual orientation had changed. Every day, he closed his laptop filled with guilt. The next day, he could not control himself and searched again, like going through puberty all over again, when self-pleasure was no longer enough. Donnie started sleeping with people of different genders. He also went to places of sexual chaos, as if being assaulted again might help him remember what really happened after he passed out. He let himself be used like a male sex worker, assuming his body no longer mattered. Maybe that event could finally be buried, but none of it worked. Repeatedly destroying his body only made Donnie hate himself even more. It proved that Darian was right. Maybe this was how Darian truly saw him. Sex could not erase the past. Donnie started dating different people again, trying to find real love among all kinds of faces. The result was always disappointment. He felt he had lost the ability to love, until he met Terry. He fell in love with Terry. But that unbearable past always swept through his whole body, making him afraid to face Terry. What made it even worse was that if not for what Darian did, Donnie would never have been able to fall in love with Terry. Later on, Martha broke into Donnie's life. She almost effortlessly pushed away the darkness. In her eyes, Donnie was exactly who he wanted to be. Your hands look very manly. A deep rich voice and a sharply defined jawline, a bone structure. This perfect should be illegal. they should really tax you a man tax. He enjoyed Martha's one-sided obsession. That was why after 6 whole months until Terry was attacked, Donnie finally went to the police. Walking into the station, he even hated himself. Why didn't he report that man and instead reported Martha who brought him light? Donnie felt ashamed to face the past. He did not dare admit dating a transgender person and did not dare admit Martha touching his private parts, so when he reported the case, the only thing he could say was that Martha sent him 80 emails every day. A man being stalked by a woman already sounded strange, and email bombing alone did not sound threatening, so this report naturally went nowhere. Because of attacking Terry, Martha was banned from entering the bar, so she began appearing everywhere Donnie went, insulting him loudly. You all should really see what his girlfriend looks like, a total ugly freak. He puts himself down digging for women in a filthy gutter. Things slowly escalated until Martha began attacking Donnie's ex-girlfriend. The ex-girlfriend's mother, who was the landlord, also realized Donnie had gotten himself into huge trouble. She had no choice but to ask him to leave. Donnie had to move out to stay with a classmate he met at drama school. This place was fine during the day, but at night, it became extremely noisy. With no other option, Donnie hid at Terry's place again. Luckily, after being attacked by Martha that time, she was not angry at Donnie, and that shared experience actually brought them closer. It was just that they were not very in sync in bed. It seemed that once emotions were involved, Donnie's body could not handle it. Urged on by Terry, Donnie went to report the case again. This time he told the police that Martha had a criminal record. After the news report came out, a detective finally stepped in to handle Donnie's case, but the detective could only warn Donnie to stay safe. With the current situation, they still could not arrest Martha, but they would call Martha in for a talk. With the police involved, Martha really did quiet down, but this silence made Donnie feel deeply uneasy. In the past, through those emails, he could read Martha's emotions. He knew when she was angry. He could feel everything through her words. Now seeing a notification bar that never lit up anymore, Donnie felt a strange emptiness. That emptiness made him wonder if this was longing. Did he actually miss Martha deep inside? Donnie missed Martha's attention. He missed her praise. Without realizing it, he even started to pleasure himself to Martha's photos. Things slowly drifted in a disturbing direction. Martha not only pushed away the darkness, she also fixed Donnie's sexual ability. When he imagined Terry as Martha, it suddenly worked. Afterward, Donnie felt extreme panic, as if he had been violated all over again. Martha's praise was that not another form of mental control. Donnie felt torn apart and put back together, then torn apart and rebuilt again. He hated the person he had become. Martha only stayed quiet for a short while. Not long after, she turned to harass Donnie's parents. Donnie rushed back to his hometown and reported it to the local police, but the hometown police also did not take it seriously. They believed Martha was only calling Donnie's parents and that it did not count as a real threat. The report Donnie filed in London could not be combined with the hometown case, since the police insisted on evidence. Before they would take any action against Martha, Donnie went straight to Martha and told her that as long as she stopped harassing his parents, he would satisfy all her demands. Donnie even asked Martha to write down exactly what she wanted him to do in emails. The more twisted and extreme the better. Donnie did this only to collect evidence for the police. Sadly, he forgot that Martha had studied law. She had recordings from every meeting, including how Donnie guided her to write twisted emails, along with past jokes made in the bar and that email about sex. All of it became evidence. The police summoned Donnie for questioning over inducing a crime. They demanded that Donnie apologize to Martha. After the case was closed, the police did not want to hear about any more disputes between them. In the eyes of the police, these two were simply flirting with each other. The police reports were just part of their game, unable to properly deal with Martha. Donnie had no choice but to ask Terry to keep a low profile, like shutting down her social media accounts first to prevent Martha from harassing her. Terry could not understand it at all, why she had to hide herself because of someone else. Because of transitioning, she had spent a long time building the confidence to face the world. Now Donnie was asking her to hide again. She refused to compromise. After the argument, Terry decided to end the relationship, at least until Donnie completely cut ties with Martha. She would not see Donnie again. The sudden breakup left Donnie devastated. He thought things could not get any worse, yet Martha continued to disrupt his life. Ignoring bar rules, she walked in openly, using filthy words. She screamed insults at Donnie. She told every customer that Donnie was trash, even shared videos of Donnie's performances with them. Everyone who watched those videos looked at Donnie with mocking eyes, saying his jokes were really awful. Martha had truly crossed the line. Donnie fired back, calling Martha a repeat offender and a stalker. Martha grabbed a glass and smashed it into Donnie's face. You ruined my good mood. Who could have known all of this started just because Donnie gave her a free cup of tea? After writing this email, I never want anything to do with you again. You have completely pissed me off, you stupid ugly fool doing childish work, raised by trash parents and graduating from a trash school. I have already held back my anger with you, but this time you went way too far. Donnie showed up injured to compete in the comedy final. The silence from the audience was the same as always. Donnie finally could not hold it together and broke down. giving up on himself. He told the crowd on stage about being sexually assaulted. "I once believed that what I brought to the audience on this stage was a bold new kind of humor that broke the rules. I watched comedian after comedian achieve the success I dreamed of while I could not understand why they could make it and I could not. But then bang, reality slapped me hard in the face. I was so damn naive. I naively believed that I had a special gift for comedy, so when a writer pretended to be impressed by my talent and said, 'Hey kid, you are talented, let me make you a star,' I believed every single word he said, because it was what I had wanted to hear my whole life. I believed in you just like you believed in yourself." So when that writer said he only worked with outsiders and for me to face my own fears, before long, I started going to his place every weekend, taking piles of drugs. Being groomed is such a strange thing. You are groomed before you even understand what is happening, until you are drugged and passed out. Lying on his living room couch and deep down you know the things he makes you do are wrong, but you still keep going back to him. You start asking yourself, am I really this lacking in self-respect? Am I really this desperate for success, that for a tiny fragile hope of becoming famous, I kept offering myself up again and again to be abused? My confidence dropped to rock bottom. You might like where this story goes so much that I let a mad woman walk into my life. Look at this. This is the mark that sexual assault leaves on a person. It turned me into a magnet that attracts every kind of broken person in life, an open bleeding wound they all come close to smell. I knew she was crazy and I knew she was dangerous, but she praised me and that was enough. I met a transgender woman. She was the most beautiful person I have ever seen, and yet I just could not. I really could not love her properly. I understand why I fell for her and why I ruined everything in that way. I finally know the reason, because in this world, there is one thing. Do you know what it is? Self-hatred. That terrible experience turned Donnie into a magnet that attracts all kinds of freaks in life. Martha becoming what she is now was caused by Donnie giving in again and again, and Terry leaving was also because of Donnie's twisted nature. He deeply hated himself and could not accept who he was. The more he wanted to love someone, the more he hated his imperfect self. After letting all of this out, Donnie dropped the microphone and walked away alone. He never expected that this speech from the comedy contest went viral. Donnie became famous in an unexpected way. Every day, different shows invited him. Reporters lined up to interview him. His career suddenly took off. He suddenly realized facing his true self could actually lead to success. Donnie could not help but reflect what he had really been afraid of before. Just as he was feeling happy, Martha poured cold water on it again. She knew about Donnie's past sexual assault and threatened to tell Donnie's parents. She also wanted to tell them about his sexual orientation. To avoid such a massive bomb being told to his parents by someone else, he decided it was better to say it himself. After hearing Donnie's story, his mother was full of pain and sympathy. As parents, how could they ever reject their own child? And about sexual orientation, they said it was a personal freedom and they would not interfere. His father choked up several times. He also revealed a secret. "Would you think I am not a real man? No, I would not. I grew up in a Catholic environment." It seemed to hint that he had gone through something similar. Father and son both carried unspeakable pasts. After laying everything bare, Donnie felt like he was reborn. He had never felt this light before. Feeling free and no longer afraid, after returning to London, the future looked bright. During the days back home, his phone was turned off. After turning it back on, countless voice messages flooded in. "You stood there like an idiot talking about that slut right in front of me, showing off your dirty affair with her in public. What exactly do you expect me to do then? She is still calling me right now even when I am at the police station." Donnie went to the police again. The police said these messages alone were not enough to open a case. Privately, an officer gave Donnie a suggestion, telling him to keep the number and sort through the messages for extreme content. If Martha made any clear threats, the police could speed up the investigation. After that, Donnie used bits of free time every day to listen to Martha's messages. He even downloaded and categorized the voice recordings, separating which ones were pure insults, which ones were emotional outbursts. Donnie slowly became obsessed with it. He did not even want to go to work anymore. He cancelled the performance he had dreamed of just to listen to Martha's voice messages. Donnie spent all his time trying to understand Martha. The more he listened, the more he felt he understood her. During this time, Donnie learned that Terry had entered a new relationship. Then things finally took a turn, when Martha threatened Donnie's parents. She made violent threats saying she would stab them to death. Because of those words, Martha was arrested. The court finally put an end to Martha's obsession, and also stopped Donnie from continuing to sink into studying Martha. After the trial, Martha's stalking and harassment of Donnie had lasted for 2 full years. She was sentenced to 9 months in prison and given a 5-year restraining order. That trial was the last time Donnie ever saw her. After everything was over, his ex-girlfriend came to see Donnie. She saw an entire wall covered with Martha, having once cared for him. She did not want to see Donnie keep drowning in this. She asked Donnie to move back to her mother's house. Maybe a change of place could help him move on. Donnie returned to his old room. The bus stop across the street no longer had Martha. It never would again. The landlord kindly helped clean up the old things left behind, including a script he once showed to Darian. Thinking about everything he had been through, Donnie felt he was finally ready to face it. He gathered his courage and knocked on Darian's door. "Hello, "Is there something I can help you with? Could I come in and talk?" Donnie's confession at the comedy contest became wildly popular. Darian had seen it too. He only said that Donnie was very brave, still wearing that superior mentor attitude. As the one who caused all of that, he did not apologize. He spoke like a judge, saying Donnie was brave. Then Darian brought up again the comedy show Donnie loved called Cottonmouth, saying it was getting a second season. He asked Donnie if he wanted to work together. It would not be like last time. This time he would get paid, would be happy to join. He still could not refuse. After leaving the apartment, Donnie stood by the road for a long time to calm down. He desperately needed comfort, so he took out his phone and opened Martha's sordid voice messages. "I think your jawline looks really nice and your smile is cute. I just think you are very charming." Listening to the message, Donnie casually walked into a bar and ordered a drink, only to realize he forgot his wallet. Seeing how down he looked, the bartender said this one is on him. The gears of fate began to turn. About the nickname Martha gave Donnie, "Reindeer Baby." Martha said in her messages, when she was little, she had a stuffed toy. It was a small deer. She took it with her everywhere. It was the only good thing in her entire childhood. Whenever her parents fought, she would hug it, and Donnie looked a lot like that little deer. In her dark life, Martha saw Donnie as the reindeer that could comfort her. That one free drink warmed Martha's cold life. It was far too precious. Martha wanted to hold on tightly, so she began to follow him obsessively. In the final moment, Donnie faces the bartender's kindness. Or maybe he finally understood what Martha felt back then. Martha once earned a first-class bachelor's degree. She may have had her own moment of glory. She struggled too, before becoming the person Donnie met. Donnie himself never fully escaped the shadow. The pain from sexual assault stays with him for life. He might also become obsessive like Martha, and the bartender becomes Donnie's reindeer baby. The video ends here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.